Suresh, you were a key part of the Obama administration's rollout of the National Export Initiative, which was launched in 2010 as a federal initiative to help U.S. companies increase exports, expand into new markets, and compete globally. Can the Obama administration unilaterally continue its efforts related to the NEI despite the changing landscape in D.C.?
Oh, I think they can, and I think they should. The NEI, when you boil it down, was really a beacon of sorts, a direction provided in terms of what our aspiration was. Doubling exports in 5 years is a 15% compounded annual growth rate. When you have clarity in what you're trying to achieve, things follow. So I think it's a laudable goal, which we all aspired for, and some of us had the distinct honor of achieving. So I'm incredibly proud. Not only did we double the exports, but we also did so hitting every single metric. And I have spoken to this in terms of return on investment. In the period when I was there, we did so without $1 increase in budgets. And we doubled our return on investment for every dollar which was invested in the U.S. and foreign commercial service. We returned back $215 by way of exports. That is unbelievable. But, as we look at it, you also need to invest back and make sure the boots on the ground are there to help American companies. What really is wonderful is I stay in touch from time to time with my foreign service colleagues, and every one of them, including my successor, tells me that we must have done something right, because for what we did, they now have the budgets. So not only can they continue to hit the trajectory which we set, but they can do so now with better resources on the ground and in the policy domain.
Very good. And certainly by boots on the ground, I take it you're referring to the actual commercial specialists and trade specialists that the U.S. Commercial Service has at offices all around the world?
Oh, yes, because the fundamental role we play here is domestically to work with companies to connect them to international markets. And the role the Foreign Commercial Service plays internationally is to make sure that American companies have the relationships and establish the relationships, whether it's a distributor relationship or a wholesaler relationship or a retail relationship or indeed a joint venture. And the more we do that, the better it's going to be. And the fact of the matter is, between the time I left the administration and now, as I mentioned, number one, the service has access to more resources by way of budgets. Second, there's something fundamental change in the economics of American export. Look at oil. The prices of oil have declined. Our shale gas reserves is at an all-time high. American cost of goods manufactured is significantly lower as a consequence. And when that happens, we are much, much more competitive in international markets. This is the time to press on the economic advantages we have and the goals and clarity which was established by this president through the National Export Initiative to really connect to world markets. I'm not going to go through the figures again. American companies need to move in droves and export their wares. We can, we must. We've been introverted in one sense because we've been looking at domestic markets, and strangely enough, so have our competitors. Or whether it's China or Germany, the European economies have all looked at this big American market. I think it's a two-way street. The NEI was a step in the right direction, and I think we put a marker on the ground, and I know the U.S. and Foreign Commercial Service and the Department of Commerce is moving right along in the direction, and I'm happy that we were architects in setting the ground zero levels, if you may, and setting a very good foundation for the future folks at the U.S. and Foreign Commercial Service and Commerce to move on.
Excellent. I think you've made some really good points here in terms of how the National Export Initiative is likely to continue over the next several years, and the capacity of the commercial service to be able to continue to execute the goals and the strategy encompassed in that initiative. And that's all the time we have today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Ex-Im Bank, which, as we know, has historically been a very important resource for U.S. exporters. So thank you for your insights today, and we'll return tomorrow to continue our discussion with Suresh on the Ex-Im Bank.